How's it going, everyone? Recently, I made a tweet asking for some unknown creative tips that are useful, and I picked the top 10 insane answers. In this video, I'm going to be showing you all some of the craziest tips and tricks with in-game examples on exactly how they work. Trust me, no matter your skill level, you will learn something in this video. I learned something. Make sure you stay for tip 10. This tip is insane and really cool. I've never seen it before. Let me just show you it. It's insane. Trust me. All right, let's get started. Real quick, if you would hit that like button, it helps me out a lot. I want to also state that just because people shared the tip doesn't mean they actually came up with it. Just a little disclaimer. Anyway, let's get into tip 1. All right, so the first tip is from the boy Dilly, and he said, you can spawn players in free fall flying if you flip over a spawn pad. All right, let's test that out. All right, first thing we're gonna do is find a spawn pad under devices, place it. All right, let's rotate it upside down. Make sure you don't have any other spawn pads on the ground. Also, make sure under game settings, spawn location set to spawn pad. All right, let's put this in the sky. All right, let's test it out. Whoa, boom. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. I did not know that tip. Shout out to Paradox on Fire. He's a mod in Creative Discord, and he actually came up with this, so very cool. All right, our next tip is from Kamui, and he said, this is for PC only. FPS affects the speed at which objects rotate. So lower your FPS and faster rotation, and a higher FPS equals a slower rotation. So basically, if you turn up your FPS, you can actually rotate maybe more precisely. Let's test it out. All right, first things first, let me show you. I have 360 FPS. This monitor is good for 240. You always want to go a bit above. You know, I have everything on epic settings just for this video because I want it to look good for you guys. So we're getting around about 145. You can kind of, I removed my camera so you guys can see my FPS. It's like 140, 150-ish. All right, let's grab a cube from the block gallery. Okay, right now I don't have grid snap on, and I'm just gonna hold rotate down. So again, we're about 150 FPS. Kinda, it is definitely a lot slower. All right, check this out. Let's change it to 60 FPS. All right, grabbed it again, and now I'm just gonna hold it. Look at that. Look at, it's so much smoother and faster. That's crazy, you guys. So if you want to be more precise, you can turn up your FPS and it will definitely slow down those rotations. But if you want that buttery smooth, quick rotation, you might want to turn down your FPS. Pretty cool tip. All right. Tip number 3 is from Ninja Adam, and he said, don't ever start scaffolding or using wood, brick, metal for placing devices on. When you hit full memory, basically, you're going to look back to save some memory and you're going to be wasting it on those structures. This one might seem like a no-brainer, but you'd be really surprised. Some of the top creators I know still do this, and definitely don't do this. Don't get in this habit. It's also a longer process to do it this way anyway. Basically, what he's just saying is don't use the normal brick, wood, or metal, you know, that you would use to build in game, just because it costs 20 for each material you place. So when you're done with your map and you're really low on memory, you know, you're gonna really regret this. What I recommend you do is just grab a floor that you're already using in your map, go into options in your quick menu, and make sure build prop is on. And what you can do is just resize this, and it's only going to cost you 3 memory, which is very low instead of 20, right? And then you have all this surface area to throw stuff in or build on. And then later on in this video, we have another tip that basically shows you a low memory way how to create an anchor point and put it anywhere in the sky. It's really cool, so make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, so tip number 4 is from Faulty, and he said, seems like a no-brainer, but when multi-selecting, select a floor or wall to keep them on grid. I know a lot of creators know about this already, but if you don't, this is definitely a game changer. And let me just show you guys an example of exactly what he means. All right, so I made a little makeshift example here. Don't roast me, guys. But basically what happens is, especially since we have build to prop now, and you can really customize a lot of things, all of this you see here is built to prop. And if we just multi-select everything and just try to copy it, see how it kind of moved over a little bit, even just me copying it moved over, right? So it's not going to really line up like we want it. It's just going to be kind of funky. So what we can do is just grab a normal wood wall place it down in your map. What's cool is, as well as this will work with build to prop on. And now let's multi-select everything and select the wall as well. And now watch what happens when we copy it. See how it sticks there? It stays. And now we can just copy this seamlessly. And it's just gonna fit. See? It's just so clean and easy. I use this all the time, and so should you. Get comfortable with using it. It's pretty easy, and this is just a great tool to have in your pocket. It will save you a lot of time. All right, the next tip is from It's LJ Cool. And he said you can make a private VC with teams in game chat. So if you are in Phil and you want to privately chat, just use voice to teams instead of none or all. So this is a really cool tip. I have seen this before. If you're not understanding what he's trying to say, let me just show you guys. All right, you can actually make really cool things with this tip in your games. I'll show you a few instances, but the easiest one is just how to get you and your friends just like a private chat in your map. First thing you're gonna have to do though for all these tips is go in your settings under My Island, under Game, and you want to put voice to team. It has to be on team to work. Then let's just grab like a class selector, put it down, interact with it, switch a team to a team that's not going to affect your game. I'm going to put team 50, and then go to the very bottom here and change player to team. Take a free channel. We'll use channel 1, and then we'll just grab a button, place this somewhere hidden in your map that only you and your friends know, and write a little text if you want. Turn visible in game off, and then interaction radius, make that a little bigger. I always do that, and then make sure the channel matches up with the class selector, right? So this will be hidden in your map, and if you and your friends press this, you will be switched to team 50, and you guys will all be on team 50 and you'll be able to chat. So another cool way you could do this is, say you have like a duos, trios, zone wars, box fight, whatever, and you have like afterlife activities, or you just have like afterlife spectating where they can fly around and watch. What you can do, since basically they were already in team chat and now you want them to chat with everyone who has died in the game, what you can do is grab a team inventory spawn pad. You can throw it down, and on this setting, after last spawn, go to team 16 or whatever team that's not going to affect your map. Usually if you had a duos, it would only, be max at 8 teams. Then basically what's going to happen is when they die, they're going to spawn on team 16. They're all going to be able to chat. And then when that round's over, they're all just going to spawn back on their team they were on before. So another kind of cool tip. And then lastly, you can put on like proximity chat in your map actually. And I've made like a little makeshift room here. Grab a mutator zone. I'm going to place them all down inside. And in here, you can use mutator zones to kind of filter your signals and only maybe specific teams you want to change or specific classes. But I'm not going to do any of that for this example. Gonna want to set it up to when player enter transmit on a channel. So for this, we'll use channel 1. The rest of these mutators are going to be channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. And then what you want to do is grab another class selector and select a team that's not going to affect your map. We'll use team 45, 46, 47, 48. Change player to team when receiving from on 1. We'll just copy this. Go back under your modified options and just click to the next available team and also your next available channel. All right, it's pretty much set up again. Make sure this is on voice chat is on team or this won't work. I don't have another player to test the chat and stuff out, so but trust me, this will work. Right now we're on team 1. Now we're on team 47. So anyone in this cube that was with me, we would be able to chat. We're on team 48 now. Same. So if we were just in this cube, we'd just be talking to these people. Team 45. Team 46, right? So just anyone in these areas will be able to have proximity chat on. Just another cool thing to put in your tool belt. All right, so tip number 6 is from Hockey, and he said, if you don't want people to build in certain empty spots, instead of using trick tiles, you can actually resize a wall and rotate it to hide it. So this actually is a really, really cool tip, and you definitely should know about this. Essentially can make it so people can't build in certain areas. Now, I do use this trick a lot, but he was talking about using walls, and I've tried using different walls from different galleries, and I could never get this to work. So if you guys actually know what walls or what gallery you can achieve this from, please write it in the comment section. The way that I know how to do it though is with a cone that's resized from prop. So let me just show you that. So basically we got our normal little floor. We'll just put down here, and we can build our ramps. We can put any builds on top of these. If you were to go into a gallery and let's just grab a little cone, it don't matter. And make sure you are on build to prop. Let's just resize this as small as we can make it. And if we put it here, you'll see how I have that red arrow in the middle center of the screen. It will not let me build. And you can actually put this, you know, kind of under the ground ish, kind of hide this, and it still works, right? See, it will let me put walls, but it will not let me put ramps here, and it will effectively stop you from building. Here's what it looks like with the game started. It's not letting me put the build down here, but it will let me put it down here. It is a really cool tip, and you guys can use that for your advantage. All right, so tip number 7 is from Barrio, and he said, use channel 1 to place devices and name them with locations. Use the channel browser to instantly teleport to that spot. Now, this is definitely a really good tip and can save you so much time in your map, especially with these new huge islands and it takes an hour to fly around. I definitely use the channel browser a lot to teleport, and I know that it's kind of known in the community how to do this stuff, but I definitely want to make sure to spotlight this tip just in case you don't know, because it could save you a lot of time. All right, just picture you're on a big island and you got a bunch of different locations and you don't want to keep flying around to them. What you can do is you can get like a trigger device, or basically any device that has a channel attached to it, throw it down in your map, hit the cog, and you can press rename. So let's just say we'll call our point of interest Sweaty Lakes. I don't know. And you kind of can see up top it says Sweaty Lakes. And then what you're going to want to do is just make sure you have like a free channel, doesn't really matter here, and put it on channel 1. I recommend maybe the first few channels don't use it all and just use them as this teleport trick. Then if your map is complete and you need some more channels, you can just delete these at the end. All right, we're pretty much done already. So just think we're in edit mode. We just spawned into our island. We want to get to Sweaty Lakes. Basically, you're just going to pull up your menu under My Island and click Channel Browser. And you'll see right here, it will say Sweaty Lakes. If you click it, it'll teleport us right there. Let's try that again. Channel browser, Sweaty Lakes, just click it, teleport, and instantly teleport right to that location. And you can have multiple of these and you can quickly get to where you need to go in your map. It's definitely a great tip. All right, for tip number 8 is from Dan. And he said, if you stand closely to the anchor point, the white dot of a prop, it won't move when you pick it up or copy it. This also counts for multi-selected props. Be careful because the anchor points will change when you've selected multiple props. Let me show you exactly what it's talking about. This is definitely a great tip. So let me go to the ring gallery. These things are tricky and these things can kind of move on you when you're moving them around. Let's just make this really, really big. All right, so anchor point, what he's talking about here is when I select it, see that little white dot on the bottom, kind of right by my elbow? That's the anchor point. If we were to grab it up here, you won't see it. And that also means kind of like when you rotate it, that's where it's going to rotate from, is that anchor point. That's what that white dot is. And so what he's talking about is if we were to grab this up here, see how it moves on us and it gets behind us? If you actually grab it down here by the anchor point, it doesn't move at all. So that's kind of a little workaround to help you manipulate these props a little better. That's definitely a good tip to know if you didn't. All right, tip number 9 is from Liquid Rollins, and he said, if you go to the Batman Dark Tilted Gallery, there is a particle effect that lets you build midair around it. Now, this is probably one of the best tips, honestly. I've been using this tip for a while now. Not only does it make it really easy to make an anchor point anywhere in your map, but it also will save memory. Now, like I said in one of the previous tips about using wood structures to hold up your builds, stuff like that, you don't want to do that. That's a lot of extra memory. You're definitely going to want to use this tip instead. Also, I know a lot of people use the hover platform to make anchor points in the sky. This is 2000 memory, you guys. So definitely don't use this piece either. All you have to do is go under galleries, search up the dark tilted prop gallery, and down here you'll see this little green particle effect. Click it, place it down. You can put it on like grid snap 2, interact with it, and turn enable during phase to none. Now, what I would recommend here, if you have any floors you're already using in the game, grab that, just because that's just less memory. You've already used it. Just for the example, I'll show you, just put down a piece of wood. You can move this particle inside of it and it's going to hold it. It's going to hold any build you put in this kind of vicinity of the particle. Let's start the game. Let me show you. All right, so see, if you look up in the air, you can see that it is floating. You can build off top of this as well. Something I do want to note though, that if you break it, the anchor point doesn't work anymore. It's not going to hold new builds. It only works right before the game starts. Something to keep in mind. The last thing on this tip, you can combine a trick tile and you can put it on here and set your trick tile to activate on game start. And you can even put devices that are still on grid, like the mutator zone. Now watch what happens when we start the game. So there is a little mutator. Kind of hard to see the blue hue, but it is here. So this would work if you set this up to channels and stuff and you can't see it at all. So anyway, hopefully we get mutators that are off grid though, so we don't have to use this. On to the final tip number 10, and it is insane. All right, so tip number 10 is from Mad Moods, and it was actually kind of funny. We were in a party and he actually showed me this tip, and I didn't even tell him anything about this tweet, but he saw the tweet and he wrote this: "I've showed you the trick today. I guess you can add it to your tip list." And honestly, this tip is insane and really cool. I've never seen it before. Let me just show you it. I know a lot lately people are stepping their games up. They're making a lot of typography, a lot of cool images with primitive shapes and the cube galleries, and we all know how finicky it can be to work with those assets. But this trick is going to help you out a lot, especially if you're making like floor pieces and certain things like that. Help you align and level up two pieces. So for instance, you see these two pieces here, they're kind of uneven. Say you've, taken this off grid or what, and you've been kind of trying to manipulate it and it's just not leveling up like you would like it. What you can do is you can actually stand on top of this piece, and the piece that you want to line up, make sure you're standing above it and just cut and paste. And look, it's flat. It's perfectly level. Let me show you over here. So let's make all these pieces flat with this piece. And you can see it's perfectly level and flat. It's a really, really cool trick. And next time you're messing with logos or trying to mess with certain uneven pieces, remember this because it will save your butt. Great tip, Mad Moods, and thank you for showing me this. All right, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys learned something, please hit that like button. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Obviously, if you guys want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. I had a lot of fun making this video. If you guys want to be in more community interactive content, make sure you're following me on my Twitter. I'll make more stuff like this if you guys like to watch it. Anyway, I'm Immature Gamer, and I'm out.